March 2020, and the Gaza media team brings to you the news concerning this new coronavirus that is spreading across the world and killing so many people, leaving many critically ill in hospitals, as well as causing panic in the lives of so many people. Covid-19, as many may call it, has become a nightmare to all countries and everyone as a whole, as it is so dangerous and a threat to all human lives. So we conveniently call it, we can conveniently call it the Third World War, because it is like a threat to the whole world. Every country is trying on their part to see what they can do to fight against this disease. Some are trying to see what they can do to come out with a treatment. Others are trying to see what they can do to come out with a vaccine. So today, dear mates, we the Gaza media team, we have looked around and want to bring you the updates of what is happening around the world. Ernest, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Yes, Ernest, what do you think? Let's try to update our classmates on some of these issues concerning the new coronavirus. Let's start with the symptoms, right?
Yes, yeah, we could even go back because I think last Sunday, the 22nd of March, that was a week ago, when we have a presentation where Dr. Gillet, Dr. Fozao Ebenezer, and Mafolke Mary did a great job in trying to explain to those that were present in the Zoom conference a little bit more about the coronavirus or the COVID-19. I think we can try to see how we can expand on that knowledge for those that did not have the opportunity to be present in that meeting.
Yes, you're right.
So yes, like we said, like we'll start with the symptom. I think one of the takeaway message from that meeting was that the high fever, a fever of about 38.4, 0.5, or 38 and above, is a very clear sign and indication of the symptom of the COVID-19. In such a way that when people, when you have like, you feel you have that kind of high temperature, shortness of breath, you can't breathe properly, you are kind of tired, the temperature rises. So when you go to the hospital, one of the screening, the first thing they do is they take your temperature, and it is a little bit higher. Then you can proceed to the next step of evaluation to see if you actually have the virus. Yeah.
Yes, I think there's also unproductive cough, right?
Yes, yeah, I think Dr. Kim explained about productive cough. Productive cough is the kind of cough where you cough and you send out mucus, or yeah, something like you cough, then you can send out sputum. Then one of the other symptoms too that they also mentioned was sneezing. Yeah, coughing and sneezing. And I think this comes to a point where you hear they talk about social distances, stand away 2 meters from the other person, because study has shown that when you cough or when you sneeze, the saliva or the nostrils or that come out of your mouth or of your nose goes at most a distance of about 1 meter or more, or not a distance of about 2 meters or less. So it is estimated that if you stand 2 meters away from somebody and the person sneezes, those droplets will not be able to reach you, because the coronavirus is transmittable on this droplet of fluid that come out of your mouth and your nose. I think that's one of the main reasons that people should understand why they are talking about social distances. Do not stand close to somebody. And in addition to when you are coughing, you cough on your elbow, or you try to have long sleep, because if you have a tissue, that would be good, because a wooden clothes trap the virus, and they stuck in there, unlike on there floating in the air without water bubble. Then additionally too, I think it was also mentioned that when they touch a surface, they could be on the surface for about close to, I think Dr. Kamila mentioned about 72 hours. That's almost like 3 days. So that is a pretty
Yes, you're right.
yes long time.
Especially on the metal surface.
Yes, depending too on the surface. There are some very smooth surface like the glass surface. There are rough surfaces like the table, the kitchen table, the kitchen top. So surface where children play. If you have a furniture, a cushion, then somebody sit on it. Those kind of surface, it trap it and it stay there. But a surface that is very smooth, sometimes they may not live there for long, and that's why they recommended sanitizing and cleaning of the house and surfaces where you cook or where people eat is also very important to note.
Exactly. They also talk about not touching the eyes and the nose with the mouth, with the hands.
Yes, because the port of entry.
No handshake.
Yes, no handshake because the port of yes, because the port of entry of the virus into the system is through the mouth, the nose, and the eyes. So if you shake somebody's hand, that the person's hands have been contaminated. The tendency is that because it remains on the surface or on the hand, if that person has not washed his or her hand, then you contaminate it from that person's hand. The likelihood is you will scratch your nose or your mouth or your eye. I mean, most often when we're reading papers or when we are reading a book, the tendency is you touch your finger with your tongue to able to reduce the friction when, or to increase the friction where you want to flip the paper over. So most often we accidentally touch our mouth, our eye when they are itchy without even knowing. So this is something that is very, very difficult, for us to really do, but it's something that we really need to adapt to it.
Exactly. No handshakes.
No handshakes.
Drink a lot of liquids.
Yes, drink. Yeah, yes,
Liquid.
yes, drink a lot of liquid as well because it lubricate the lungs. You try to open the airway. Then I will also add to it that if you drink hot, maybe not very hot, kind of warm liquid, and it also helps to open your trachea. No, not your trachea, but if you have the viruses in the epiglottis, at the junction where the tubes separate to the trachea, going to the lung and going to the stomach, the esophagus. If you drink water, the idea is if you drink, it will flush the viruses into your stomach. Instead of those viruses going into the trachea, that means going into the windpipe that goes to the lung, it will instead go into your stomach. And once it goes into your stomach has a strong acid, kind of hydrochloric acid with a low pH. Those viruses cannot survive in those low pH. So they will definitely die in your stomach. But if you leave them sitting there, then you continue to breathe in, then they will go through your windpipe into your lungs. Then that is where they actually
very dangerous.
Yes, they manifest in the lungs. Then they react. Mucus is formed in your lungs. Your alveoli or the air sac are blocked. Then you are not able to breathe easily. Then that is when you start having shortness of breath. Oxygen can no longer able to transmit from outside into your blood. Then you start having some other organ failure because oxygen is not able to reach those organs to provide for proper functioning. So that is where you see.
And then they also talked about. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Still saying something?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Dr. Fozao also insisted that we should avoid crowded places for those places that one could easily get infected, and equally eat healthy food like lots of fruits, lots of vegetables, lots of proteinous foods. What do you think?
Yes, crowded places go back to where we discussed earlier about having contact with people. We're talking about sneezing. That is even a distance. Then we've known that the virus is transmitted through contact. That means if somebody sneezes on your clothes behind you, somebody come and rub themselves behind you, you see, contaminating is very high at that rate. In terms of prevention, like eating a well-balanced meal, with a lot of green vegetable and fruit. So that kind of boosts your immune system. If you eat stuff like garlic, ginger, those are like kind of antioxidant. They oxidize your system and they make your system function properly, so that they can quickly fight any foreign antigen, including the virus and other bacteria and other microbes. I would like to go back and stress on this social gathering, especially somebody sent out an audio on WhatsApp on another forum, or it came to me. They were saying that in Cameroon they have other people to stay home, not to open their drinking parlor or drinking places. People are inside drinking. Usually in an off license or in a drinking place, somebody will drink a beer, somebody will come and take from that same bottle and drink or and share. You know how it goes with social gathering. Like, oh, I'm thirsty. Oh, do you have a beer? People share the same glass or the same bottle, so it's a very common practice. But if it does that, I mean, you are talking about saliva, you are talking about fluid from mouth. That is already direct contact. So you see how it can be spread so rampant and so rapidly in those kind of situations.
Okay, Ernest, our health experts insisted on a special drug that can be used for the treatment of this, which is called stay home. Stay home, Ernest. Stay home is that drug. How effective is it to stay home and as a measure of prevention against this COVID-19?
Yes, I think stay home so far has been the most effective, that is kind of a major preventive way of isolating yourself from this disease. I mean, it boils down to a cost benefit analysis. Like here in the US, people are asked to stay home. They stay like New York City, where people do not follow those rules, and that's when you see it spreading like wildfire. I mean, the rate now in the US is already more than what happened in China, and New York is 3/4 of all the infected people that have been tested so far in the US. So if you stay home, you are not only protecting yourself, but you are also protecting your community, because if you become infected and you stay home and you eat healthy, your immune system can actually overcome the virus. But if you continue to go out, then you spread it to your neighbor, you spread it to the other person, the person in turn spread it, then you see how the thing begin to multiply. That's why you see like within 24 hours, you either 400 people are infected. Within the next day, the number jumped to 1,000. It's because this is something that is spread very rampantly. You are talking to somebody in very close proximity or in somebody's personal personal space. Only your speed can contaminate that person if you yourself is infected. So stay home. Yeah, it's a very ideal situation. It's very costly for you to stay home, where you will not be able to go to work. You may face hunger. You may have to rationalize your food. If you used to eat, maybe I don't know, we're talking about eating healthy, but at the same time, if you don't have enough food because you cannot go to the market to buy, or you don't want to go to a very crowded place to work to get the money, so you have to rationalize your food in such a way that the food that could take you for 1 week, maybe it could take you for a week and a half, so that you are not moving around and spreading the disease to other people. Because the more you spread, the more everybody become contaminated. At the end, you yourself will not be safe.
Exactly, Ernest. So for that reason, they have shut down all business places, shut down schools as a major way to fight against this new coronavirus, and it is going to be a great impact in the economy of every country.
Yes.
I'm sure that by the end of this COVID-19, people are going to suffer from economy recession. What do you think?
I foresee it coming. Yeah, I mean, even in many states, like in the US, they have said people should not worry about rent. The landlord will not ask you your rent if you have a mortgage or some bills that you have to pay, utility bills. People should not worry for it. But I mean, this are bills that because you are staying home, you are still consuming. you know,
Exactly.
yeah, human nature is production and consumption, regardless of how much you look at it. We are made to produce and consume. At this point of shutdown,
Exactly.
you are only consuming, you are no longer producing. So the equation is now weighing on one side. So when when the market or
Exactly.
when the activity will finally open, I mean, the bills that will hit on a lot of people will be very, very devastating. But that is something that we really have to deal with. It's a matter of survival. Either you go outside and you get contaminated and you die, or you
Or you stay home and be safe.
and be safe. So I think it's a choice. It's a very difficult choice to make.
Exactly, exactly. But it's not also easy to stay at home all day, Ernest. But we have to make a choice. That is clear.
It's very yeah.
Okay, so a lot of information is going on in the social media saying that if we could drink lemon in hot water, it's going to help. Others say we should cut onion and throw in the house, and others say we should mix bicarbonate and lemon. Others say we should use salt solution to wash our hands, our face, and all of that. What do you think about it?
Yeah, naturally, saline water, that means sodium chloride or common table salt add in water is a very cleansing compound or cleansing substance, concoction, if you will. Uh, that when sometimes, normally when you have a common cold or when your noses are blocked due to cough, or when you are infected with other viruses, not this kind of virus, where you find it very difficult to breathing, you use salt water. You can inhale it, you can warm it, you can inhale it. Sometimes you even drink it. Uh, you even have like a syringe or some tube, a droplet that you can actually add some of it into your nostrils. That can add some of it into your nostrils, and it will open up your airway, your nasal cavity, so that you can breathe easily. I think those are just some of the. Sorry, it appears the network is getting a little bit disconnected. So what I was saying is that all those measures are just there to help open up your airway and clear the mucus so that you can have easy bleeding, because one of the most serious side effects or the associated disease to coronavirus is pneumonia, and that is what is killing a lot of people. You hear about ventilation where people can no longer breathe, so they have to have ventilation to take in oxygen from this machine. So any known pharmacological thing that you can do, I would think people should go for it. Uh, if onions, but the thing is, how many onions do you have to cut and put around your house for them to absorb the virus in the air? But first of all, this virus does not float in the air. Like, it's not an airborne disease. That is the difference. Yeah, it's a droplet, and direct contact means that when you sneeze, yeah, it's on that droplet, it lands on the surface. It doesn't remain in the air floating. So that is with the onion, because I know onion has kind of an osmotic pressure property where it absorbs particles from the air, but the virus itself does not stay in the air. It's within the droplet particle, and when you sneeze it out, it lands on the surface. It doesn't continue to float on the air. So the idea of onions, yeah, cutting and putting in the house may be a little bit difficult for me to explain, but I don't know how effective that can work. But I won't roll out anything when it comes to herbal plants at this point.
Okay. What about the bicarbonate and lemon solution?
Yeah, bicarbonate
Could it
and
be effective?
oh, yeah, bicarbonate and lemon solution. Bicarbonate by itself is a kind of alkaline or a base that neutralizes the acid Yeah, they're using lemon, lime. I don't know that sometimes this lemon itself is like kind of that acts. I cannot for sure. I don't. I mean, there's some kind of biology behind, but I don't really know how to correlate it with the virus itself. But if you drink lemon, that stimulates uh, your system because they are the kind of cleansing kind of solution. Like when you take calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is the limestone that they used in preparing the yellow soup. That is mostly from
Exactly.
yes, akanwa. So that neutralizes your system. Yeah, it makes your system function properly. If you go to a dinner place where you eat a lot of different food, then your stomach begin to bubble because of so much acid. It neutralizes it and make your system function properly. I just believe that when you take in any of these things that can make you function properly, that can make your organ, your system work well. The more stronger you are, the more you can now fight any disease, regardless of the coronavirus. So that is kind of a general knowledge I can say for now.
Okay. Yes, Ernest, during this period when schools are all shut down, we are in trouble with the kids in the house. They are performing a lot of things in the house. How are you handling the kids there?
Yeah, for us here, the children now have online classes where, yeah, they are being directed to various websites where they use iPad and computer to do homework assignment. I mean, at that point, the parent too has to be on their side to really support them. Otherwise, they will just be playing video games around. So it's really putting a weight on families. Yeah, because even though yeah most places are closed, but some of us like in the healthcare where we have to go to work, so it gives a lot of challenge when you're supposed to be home to monitor these children, to communicate with their teacher, and then at the same time you have to go to work and because you work probably in the healthcare field, uh, so it's a little bit hectic.
Exactly. Okay, thank you so much, Ernest. We are so happy to have you in the program. At least those who did not take part in the last conference meeting or the Zoom meeting, as I may call it, they have to benefit from all what you have explained to us right now. Okay, our dear audience, you have heard it all from our special guest of today, Mr. Kumba Ernest. He has given us all the techniques we have to use to combat this dangerous COVID-19, as people may call it. So please keep a distance from other people. Everybody is a suspect here. Don't say this is my friend also. So keep a distance away from people. Avoid touching your mouth, your hands, your mouth, your nose, your mouth with your hands. No handshakes, no hugging, no pecks. When you cough, cough in your elbow. Regular washing of your hands every 20 minutes. Or use hand sanitizer. Drink a lot of hot liquid and drink water constantly. Maybe after every 15 minutes, you have a sip of water. Eat healthy. So, and also keep our kids busy in the house. Make sure that you also sensitize them to keep all these hygienic rules that we have given you. Thank you so much. Ernest,
Yes.
are you there?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you so much for your time.
It's my pleasure.
That was Ernest Kumba. Okay. And here I am Gillet attempting. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful time.
Thank you too. And bye bye.
Bye bye.